Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something today. You were not born to be a slave to emotions. You were born with power. You were born with peace. And if you're constantly giving your peace away to every fool who cuts you off in traffic, every coworker who talks behind your back, every stranger who throws shade, you are trading gold for garbage. But here's the truth. No one has the power to bother you unless you hand it to them. When people act out, it's not about you. It's about what's broken in them. So why are you reacting like it's your job to fix their mess? You don't have time to get angry. You have a mission. You don't have time to be bitter. You have a destiny. You don't have time to clap back. You're too busy climbing higher. Because when you know who you are, when you know your worth, when you know the value of your peace, you protect it like treasure. So when they talk about you, smile. When they misunderstand you, let them. Emotions are powerful. They can light up your soul or cloud your vision. They can inspire greatness or stir up destruction. But here's the thing. You were never meant to be ruled by them. You were meant to use them, not be used by them. Anger is not the enemy. Frustration isn't a curse. They're signals. Not a curse. They're signals. They tell you something's wrong. Something needs attention. But they were never meant to take the wheel. Too many people are walking through life being pulled by whatever they feel at the moment. They wake up hopeful, but one bad comment ruins their whole day. Oh! They start with joy, but the moment someone disrespects them, that joy evaporates like it was never there. That's not power. That's slavery to the moment. You've got to recognize this truth. Just because you feel something doesn't mean you have to follow it. Feelings are visitors. They knock on the door, but you decide whether they come in, sit down, and take over your life. You have the authority to pause, to breathe, to ask, is this worth my energy? Because when you let every emotion run wild, you lose clarity. You make decisions that don't reflect your values. You say things you can't take back, and in that chaos, you give other people the keys to your peace. But when you master the moment, when you feel the fire rise but don't let it burn down your peace, you take back control. You stand taller, you walk stronger. You stop being a puppet of your environment and start becoming the architect of your inner world. That's real power. Not reacting, but responding. Not boiling over, but breathing through. Not lashing out, but lifting up. And that power, it's already inside you. No one can disturb your peace unless you allow it. That's not just a catchy phrase. It's a truth that will change your life if you live by it. People will try you. They'll say things that sting, do things that disappoint, betray you, ignore you, talk about you like they never knew your heart. And if you're not grounded, if you're not centered in who you are, you'll react every single time. You'll get pulled into every argument, every rumor, every storm, and you'll call it normal. But that's not normal. That's noise. You've got to understand something deep. Peace is not the absence of problems. It's the presence of power. Peace is not about the world calming down. It's about you learning to stay calm in a wild world. And once you realize that, you'll stop giving people easy access to your emotions. You'll stop letting everything outside of you dictate what's going on inside of you. People can say what they want. They can act how they want. They can lie, cheat, manipulate, gossip. But none of that can touch you unless you open the door and invite it in. Unless you take it personally. Unless you internalize their chaos and make it yours. But when you know your worth, when you know your value, when you understand that peace is your birthright, you become unshakable. You don't flinch at every insult. You don't chase every rumor. You don't fight every battle because you know some things are just not worth your energy. You can hear the noise and stay still. You can see the storm and stay planted. You can witness the chaos and choose clarity. That's the level of discipline and strength that sets you apart. Because what's going on around you should never be more powerful than what's going on within you. Other people's behavior is not about you. That truth alone can set you free. Most of the time when someone lashes out, disrespects you, ignores you, or throws negativity your way, it's not a reflection of your character. It's a mirror showing what's unresolved in them. Hurt people hurt people. Insecure people criticize others to distract from their own inner chaos. Jealous people project their fears, not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're doing something right. But here's where we get stuck. We take it personally. We internalize the disrespect. We carry the weight of their wounds. We replay the words in our heads like we did something to deserve them. And without realizing it, we let broken people break our peace. Let me tell you something. You are not responsible for the way others choose to behave. You are not accountable for someone else's bad day, bad attitude, or bad decisions. You don't have to make sense of their madness. You don't have to absorb their energy to prove you care. You don't have to shrink to keep the peace, or fight to earn respect from people who don't even respect themselves. When you understand that people often speak from their pain, not their wisdom, you stop needing their approval. You stop needing their validation. You stop needing their validation. You stop reacting like their actions determine your worth. You get to step back. You get to breathe. You get to say, that's not mine to carry. You get to stay kind without being a doormat, strong without being a doormat, strong without being bitter, and peaceful without being passive. Because at the end of the day, you can't control how people treat you, but you can always control how you respond. And when you choose not to let their dysfunction disrupt your direction, you reclaim your power. You stay on your path. You stay in your purpose. You stay free. Responding in anger gives power to the wrong people. Every time you snap, lash out, or explode over someone else's behavior, you hand over the keys to your peace. You give them control of your emotional thermostat. And just like that, you're no longer leading your life. You're reacting to theirs. You're not walking in purpose. You're stumbling in frustration. You're not making decisions from wisdom. You're moving from wounds. Let's be real. Anger feels good for a moment. It makes you feel strong in control, like you're standing up for yourself. But if you're honest, how many times has anger actually made things better? How many times did it heal anything, solve anything, uplift anything? Anger that isn't disciplined turns into chaos. It burns bridges, ruins conversations, damages relationships, and most of all, it poisons you, not them. You. Because after the rage fades, you're left with the mess to clean up. You're left with the regret, the guilt, the missed opportunity to rise above. And who did it in power? Not you. The person who triggered you ends up running your mood, your energy, your reactions. And they probably walked away unbothered while you're still simmering in the fallout. That's why real power is in restraint. Real strength is in choosing peace over performance. It's in being able to look someone dead in the eye, hear their disrespect, and still keep your dignity. Not because you're weak, but because you refuse to give them that much influence over your life. Don't hand out your emotional power like candy. Everyone doesn't deserve access to your triggers. Everyone doesn't need a response. Silence sometimes speaks louder than 1,000 angry words. Walking away can be a louder declaration of strength than shouting could ever be. You're not just protecting your mood, you're protecting your purpose. You're guarding your future from decisions made in temporary emotions. That's wisdom. That's maturity. That's real power. Inner peace is a form of strength, not weakness. In a world that praises loud voices, fast reactions, and instant comebacks, peace can look like passivity to the untrained eye. People might think you're soft because you didn't argue back. They might say you're weak because you stayed quiet. They might think you're afraid because you walked away. But what they don't realize is that it takes far more strength to stay calm than it does to explode. Anyone can yell. Anyone can argue. Anyone can throw words like weapons when they're hurt. That's easy. That's emotional impulse. But to stay centered in chaos, to remain kind when faced with cruelty, to stand still while others are spinning in drama, that's power. Peace isn't just a feeling. It's a discipline. It's choosing not to react out of ego. It's refusing to let your day be ruined by someone else's bad mood. It's knowing you don't have to prove yourself to anyone because your worth isn't up for debate. That kind of strength doesn't come from pride. It comes from wholeness, from knowing who you are and what you stand for. People will misunderstand it. They'll mistake your calm for weakness because they expect war. They expect a fight. And when you give them peace instead, they don't know what to do with it. But that's not your problem to fix. That's your power to protect. Peace allows you to see clearly, to think before you speak, to act with intention, not reaction. It gives you room to rise above what doesn't serve you. It's the foundation of wisdom, of clarity, of growth. You don't need to match the energy in the room. You set the tone. You don't need to fight every battle. Sometimes your stillness speaks louder than your words ever could. You don't need to win arguments to prove strength. The fact that you can walk away and stay true to yourself is proof enough. So when you choose peace, you're not giving in. You're standing tall. You're showing that your energy is too expensive to waste. Your time too valuable to lose, and your purpose too important to be distracted. That's not weakness. That's warrior level strength. That not staying calm doesn't mean you're passive. It means you're in control. There's a massive difference between being silent out of fear and being silent out of wisdom. There's a world of strength in the person who could react, who wants to react but chooses not to. That's not weakness. That's not surrender. That's mastery. See, anyone can throw words in a moment of heat. Anyone can argue, clap back, or match energy. But it takes real strength to sit in the storm and not let it shake your spirit. It takes courage to stand still when everything in you wants to respond, to defend, to explain. That calmness, that control, it's not you giving up. It's you rising above. When you stay calm, you're not pretending like the situation doesn't affect you. You're choosing to respond with wisdom instead of emotion. You're choosing long-term peace over short-term satisfaction. You're not driven by ego. You're guided by purpose. Too many people confuse noise with strength. They think the loudest voice wins. They think whoever speaks first, yells hardest, or insults better is the one with the upper hand. But real power is often quiet. Real control doesn't need to announce itself. Your calm is your clarity. It allows you to observe, to discern, to make choices that aren't tangled up in temporary feelings. When you're calm, you stay aligned with your values. You respond from a place of depth, not damage. So, you move with intention, not impulse. You don't need to raise your voice to be heard. You don't need to react to prove you're right. You don't need to fight every fight just because it showed up at your door. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to breathe, smile, and walk away with your dignity intact. That kind of calm is rare. That kind of control is earned. And once you learn it, you never go back, because you realize that your peace isn't just a feeling, it's a strategy. And staying calm, that's how you win without ever throwing a punch. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone who misunderstands you. Trying to be understood by everyone is a full-time job that pays nothing and drains everything. The truth is, no matter how pure your heart is, no matter how honest your intentions are, someone will twist it. Someone will question it. Someone will judge you from their own lens, clouded by their past, their insecurities, their assumptions. You could speak with clarity, move with grace, give with love, and still, someone will get it wrong. And if you spend your life chasing down every misunderstanding, correcting every false perception, trying to prove your worth to people committed to missing it, you will exhaust your energy and abandon your peace. Not everyone deserves access to your explanations. Not everyone is entitled to understand your journey. Some people aren't asking because they care. They're asking because they want control. They want to pull you into conversations that don't lead to clarity, just more confusion. They don't want truth. And you've got better things to do. There is a quiet strength in being misunderstood and choosing not to fight it. There is wisdom in knowing who you are, what you're about, and refusing to let misinterpretation define you. Sometimes the most powerful response to being misunderstood is to keep walking in truth anyway. You have to stop shrinking to fit into spaces that were never built to see you clearly. You have to stop explaining yourself to people who have already decided what they want to believe. You're not here to convince the world. You're here to live out your calling, to walk in your lane, to stay focused on what matters. Clarity comes with time. The ones meant to understand you will, and the ones who don't. Let them talk. Let them speculate. Let them be confused. Because you're not living for their applause, and you won't fall apart because of their misunderstanding. You didn't come this far to keep explaining who you are to people who never really saw you in the first place. Keep showing up. Keep being real. Let your actions speak, let your peace shine, and let the truth reveal itself in due time. Protecting your peace is protecting your purpose. Your peace is not just a feeling. It's a foundation. It's the ground beneath every decision you make, every dream you build, every relationship you nurture. And if you let anything or anyone constantly disrupt that peace, you're not just losing a moment of calm. You're risking your focus, your direction, your purpose. You can't build something great in chaos. You can't hear divine direction over constant noise. You can't grow into who you're meant to be if you're always shrinking to deal with drama. That's why peace isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. It's what gives you the clarity to know what's real, the strength to move forward, and the wisdom to let go of what's not serving you. When you protect your peace, you start making different choices. You stop showing up to battles that drain you. You stop responding to people who bait you. You stop explaining your worth to those who only want to challenge it. Because you realize that your energy is valuable, your time is limited, and your focus is everything. There are places you're meant to go, things you're meant to build, lives you're meant to impact. And none of that can happen if you're constantly distracted by petty offenses, toxic conversations, or emotional roller coasters that pull you away from your assignment. Some people won't like it when you protect your peace. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're distant. They'll say you're distant. They'll say you don't care. But the truth is, you care deeply. You care enough about your purpose to not let nonsense delay it. You care enough about your growth to not let gossip derail it. You care enough about your calling to not let chaos confuse it. Oh. Protecting your peace means setting boundaries, not just with others, but with yourself. It means choosing your higher self over your reactive self. It means pausing before you respond, checking your energy before you enter a space, and being intentional about what you entertain. Because peace isn't passive. Peace is powerful, and the more you guard it, the more you grow, the more you protect it, the more you rise. Peace clears the path so purpose can walk freely. Without it, you're just surviving. With it, you're thriving. Sometimes silence is the most powerful response. In a world where everyone feels the need to speak their mind, to give their opinion, to defend themselves or fight for validation, there is immense power in saying nothing at all. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not indifference. Silence is strength, it's control, and it's wisdom. It's the ability to stand in the face of confusion or conflict and choose not to engage. We live in a culture where noise is glorified, loud voices, quick comebacks, constant chatter. But noise doesn't solve problems. It just adds to the chaos. When you respond impulsively to every insult, every misunderstanding, every conflict, you're only feeding the fire. You're contributing to the noise. You're making everything bigger than it needs to be. But when you stay silent, when you don't respond immediately, you create space for clarity. Clarity. You allow yourself the time to process your emotions, to think before you speak, to evaluate the situation with a calm mind. Silence lets you reflect on whether your words will add value or whether they'll just stir the pot. It allows you to make decisions not based on anger or hurt, but based on wisdom and purpose. Silence is also a signal. It's a way of telling someone that their drama, their nonsense, doesn't deserve your energy. It's a declaration that you won't engage in petty arguments, that you won't lower yourself to their level. It shows strength and restraint, maturity in the face of immaturity, and peace in the face of chaos. Sometimes people will try to pull you into their fights, drag you into their confusion. They want to argue to prove a point, to draw you into a battle that has nothing to do with your path. And in those moments, your silence becomes a shield. It's not about being passive. It's about being proactive and guarding your peace. It's about not letting the noise around you dictate your emotional state, your actions, or your reactions. Silence also has the power to disarm. It confuses the person who expects a reaction. It can make them uncomfortable because they are no longer getting the response they crave. And in that discomfort, they might even begin to realize that they don't have the control over you that they thought they did. In that moment, your silence speaks volumes. It says you're above the situation, that you won't be manipulated by their words, and that your peace is too valuable to be disturbed. There are times when words aren't necessary. When speaking doesn't add value, when responding only keeps the cycle of negativity going. In those moments, silence is the most powerful tool you have. It's a quiet strength that allows you to stay grounded, to stay focused, and to rise above the noise. Real growth means outgrowing petty battles and rising to greater things. Too many of us spend our time and energy fighting the wrong things. We get caught up in arguments that don't matter, in drama that doesn't serve us, and in conflicts that only steal from our potential. We argue over small things, get offended by small things, and spend days, sometimes weeks, on things that will have no lasting impact on our lives or our future. But here's the truth. When you spend your time fighting battles that don't move you forward, you're holding yourself back from the things that truly matter. As you grow, you start to realize that there are things you no longer have to prove. You don't need to win every argument. You don't need to explain every decision. You don't need to defend every move you make. When you start to grow into your higher self, you begin to recognize that some people, some situations, and some battles just aren't worth your time or energy. You outgrow the need to prove anything to anyone. You stop fighting for validation. You stop battling for attention. You stop arguing with people who are stuck in the past while you're busy building your future. Growth demands that you focus on what's important and let go of what's trivial. It requires you to stop engaging in conversations that aren't leading anywhere productive. It requires you to stop reacting to things that are beneath you. And as you grow, you realize that responding to petty arguments, feeding into negativity, or getting caught up in small-minded drama is only going to hold you in a place of stagnation. It's like running in circles, expending all your energy, but never getting anywhere. True growth is about realizing that your energy is precious. It's about recognizing that your time is too valuable to be wasted on things that won't matter in the long run. When you grow, you start to see the bigger picture. Oh. You stop sweating the small stuff and start focusing on what really moves the needle in your life. Your dreams, your goals, your impact on the world, and your inner peace. You start to realize that no one who is truly focused on their purpose has time for petty arguments. And if you're busy growing, you're not wasting time on things that don't push you forward. You begin to outgrow the need to prove your worth to people who don't even know you. You stop trying to change people's opinions of you because you realize their opinions don't define your value.
Your value.
You stop letting negativity and criticism derail you from your path. Instead of reacting to every opinion or challenge that comes your way, you keep your eyes on your own journey and you move forward with determination and grace. Part of growing means recognizing that you have a purpose that is bigger than anything petty. Your life has a direction, and it's moving towards something greater. The battles that once seemed so important, the ones that drained you, frustrated you, and consumed you, begin to fade into the background. You no longer need to fight to prove you're right because you know that your actions and your character speak louder than any words could. When you rise above those small things, you give yourself the room to elevate into the bigger things. Things that matter, things that fulfill you, things that make a lasting impact. Growth doesn't just mean achieving external success. It means evolving internally. It means shedding the layers of ego, insecurity, and attachment to superficial battles. It means becoming so confident in who you are that you no longer need to fight for your identity. You no longer feel the need to defend yourself or your choices to those who can't see your vision fits. When you grow, you begin to choose your battles wisely, and you start investing your energy in what's truly important. You also begin to recognize that some people and situations will simply never understand you, and that's okay. You don't have to fight to be understood by everyone. You don't have to force your way into spaces where you're not valued or respected. Growth teaches you to recognize your worth and to walk away from environments that don't align with your purpose. It teaches you that peace is more valuable than being right, and that your time and energy are too precious to waste on things that will never bring you closer to your goals. Ultimately, growth is about prioritizing your own progress over petty distractions. It's about shifting your focus from what others think of you to what you're building for your future. It's about understanding that you don't have to be involved in every conversation or engage in every conflict to be successful. When you outgrow petty battles, you make room for bigger opportunities that will propel you forward, challenges that will make you stronger, and connections that will help you rise higher. You begin to realize that your life is too valuable to be spent on anything that doesn't align with your higher calling. So, as you grow, let go of the small things. Stop fighting battles that don't deserve your energy. Stop engaging in negativity that holds you back. Recognize that the things that once seemed so urgent are just distractions, and focus on the greater things, on the purpose, the growth, the peace, and the success that lie ahead. In the end, true strength is found in how we choose to rise above the noise, how we navigate the chaos with grace, and how we protect the peace within ourselves. Life will always present challenges, people will always misunderstand you, and emotions will always try to dictate your reactions. But it is your ability to stay grounded, to control your arches, and to protect your peace that will shape the life you lead. You are not defined by the opinions of others, the drama that surrounds you, or the petty battles that attempt to pull you down. You are defined by your ability to rise above, to outgrow what no longer serves you, and to move forward with unwavering purpose and strength. As you journey forward, remember that peace is your power, silence is your strength, and growth is your path. Keep moving with purpose and watch how your life transforms when you choose to never be bothered again.